I salute you, Navy recruiters. You have done it again. You've conned another sucker into joining the U.S. Navy, and you've done it when they've made more money, more qualified, older. You've come across every single barrier that you could ever think of to allow this one guy to join the U.S. Navy. And Recruit Training Command, aka Basic Training Boot Camp of the Navy, is showing off your hard work. How dare they take credit for that? And they posted on their Facebook and they say, meet hashtag Seaman Recruit Chase Barnes from Carthage, Texas, who is currently assigned to Division 169. He says, I wanted a change in career. I've been an ICU intensive care unit RN nurse for 13 years. As a hashtag registered nurse, Barnes has experience working in neuro ICU, medical ICU, trauma ICU, and cardiac ICU. I was ready for a change and a new adventure, he says. Barnes also is an avid fan of the outdoors and volunteered at a low-cost/no-cost spay or neuter facility. He enjoys listening to people's stories and looks forward to the new experiences in his future Navy career. Chase Barnes got all the education but no common sense. What's going on here? The numbers don't add up. But you already know he's one of those weird guys that's like, I love the outdoors and adventure. He's like the modern Bear Grylls. Probably has his own bunker out there. And he's like, I'm tired of dealing with people in COVID-19 with all this registered nurses, on the front lines. Also, doesn't he look oddly a lot like John Locke from the show Lost? Or is this just one big coincidence? Let's dive into really why people are frustrated about this, and that is the pay. I have notes here. So, as an 01, if he were to come in, he would have made $3,386. Mind you, he would have also had to have gone to what is known as Officer Development School. A lot of you guys are like, Nicky, when are you going to OCS? And I tell you guys about Officer Development School because it's not Officer Candidate School. As a nurse, doctor, lawyer, chaplain, you go to Officer Development School for 5 weeks over in Rhode Island, where he would have an easier boot camp because you're already seen as an officer. You don't have to earn the title. You are not a candidate as you are in the other schools. He pretty much went to the harder version of everything, and he's not even coming out as an officer. Now let's compare it to an enlisted pay. As an E3, because he is coming in with college education, it is $2,104 per month he would get. Mind you, they do call him Seaman Recruit in this post on Facebook. That is because everybody that is over at Recruit Training Command Navy's boot camp in Great Lakes, Illinois, is considered a Seaman Recruit. We could be looking at this totally wrong. What if he wanted to be a reservist? Which maybe not that big of a deal, but if he was activated and was being paid, there would still be that pay gap. While he's just drilling and doing the 2 weeks a year, probably not too much, because this is how it would break down. Looks like on reserves as an officer, he would have $425 as an 01 coming in. He possibly would not make much of that because most people that are going to go reserves do like having the healthcare benefits of the reserve TRICARE side because it's much cheaper than getting it from his insurance company that is probably through his employees as a nurse, which eats away a lot more costs for him if he has a family. Also, if he were to be enlisted, this is how much he would make. $298 per the pay chart here. It says that he would make, you're looking at this and you're like, okay, a little over $1,000 on the active duty side, a little more than $100 on his drill side if he's a reservist, but that still doesn't make sense because let's look at what his pay would be in the civilian sector. He currently is a over 10-year tenured intensive care unit nurse with an average salary of about $85,000 a year, sometimes even going up to $110,000, which he's probably in that median, probably making $85,000 depending where he lives at too. Please keep that in mind. And that means he would be making $7,083.33 per month. Could his recruiter have actually lied to him? Yes, maybe. But there's a technicality to this. If you do have a degree, it is required for the enlisted recruiter to have you contact and at least know that you could apply for an officer position and you sign away saying that, yes, I understand I'm applying to be enlisted. It's sad this is part of the policy because they have to prove that pretty much they have not tried to con you. And I'm sure enough people were conned at one point. They were like, this has to be a standard operating procedure. COVID-19 is going on, and as an intensive care unit nurse, it can be very stressful right now being on the front lines, wearing your N95 mask all the time, working long hours, overtime, things like that. He may be looking to avoid that. I don't think his issue is job security or finding employment, and he specializes in one of the areas that we are having one of the most in-demand surges. Also, to consider here is there are boards that do occur for people to join the officer corps through nurse corps and all things like that, which obviously his 10 years of experience would show that he probably is more than overqualified for the position, but I don't know exactly how that would amount towards him versus his peers. What many of you guys don't understand from the officer corps in those ranks is you're not required to come in as an O1. What's interesting about his case is he does have over 10 years of experience. He could come in as a more senior officer. We have seen cardiologists and various specialists that have come in much later in their careers that have 10, 15, 20 years experience that will come in immediately as O5s, O4, things like that, because they are bringing the skill set that the military needs, and they know in order to obtain them, they need to offer more money because they're not coming straight out of medical school, even though the doctors that are coming out of medical school will be in O3 automatically. Also, the last thing I want to cover here is the technicality of him being a registered nurse. Now, if you guys do not know, in order to be a nurse in the U.S. Navy, you need to have a BSN, that's a Bachelor's of Nursing, 4-year degree. Now, there is an associate degree, which is the ADN version of that, where as long as you have the associate degree or the bachelor's degree and you have passed what is called the NCLEX, that's the national certification to become a nurse, you can be a nurse. Now, will they hire you versus a BSN if you're an ADN? That is something that I don't want to speak on because I'm not a nurse, but I do know that that could affect how your hiring is. And I've even looked at some of the pay disparity there, which looks like that is about $70,000. So still, even if we're talking about the difference between $70,000 and $85,000, he's still making a significant amount of money. So what does this mean for this guy now? What can he do? What is his next ability to move forward? He's going to have to apply to commission. The ability to direct a session, if he does have his BSN, is going to be very difficult. Literally, he's going to have to wait for a spot to open up when the next boards come out. And that means talking to an officer recruiter most likely for that direct session and getting a conditional release from the active duty side from his enlisted contract to go over to that side. That's not too difficult, but we don't know what rate he's going into. Is he going to be nuke or something else? That is something that if he is, he may need an admiral to sign off in order for him to even leave. He went through regular Navy boot camp. This is not him just walking over to the officer side. He will have to go to officer development school. So he's probably going through 8 to 10 weeks of Navy boot camp with all the quarantine stuff now, and now going to have to do another 5 weeks over at ODS. So this is the favorite part of the video where I ask you guys, what is your best version of this story where you've seen someone go enlisted that should have been an officer and for some reason never made it to the officer recruiter? But as always, if you guys do enjoy what we do here, we do have a Patreon link down below where you can help support the channel over there and become a member, just like my favorite personal assistant Natalie that became a member yesterday. And also we have the YouTube join button for memberships on this channel that you can help join as well and help the community out. We appreciate it. And if you guys do have questions about this or anything else, you can hit me up on Instagram, Snapchat, Twitter, or down in the comments below. I love you guys. I'll see you next time.